Jayanta Mahapatra stands out in Indian English poetry for his regional rootedness, moral introspection, and emotive subtlety. Unlike contemporaries, like Nissim Ezekiel or Kamala Das, Mahapatra's work is often dark, meditative, and focused on the quiet violence of poverty, tradition, and human frailty. Known for writing about Odisha, particularly the cultural paradoxes of Puri and the socio-economic struggles of the people there. Hunger is one of his most disturbing and honest poems in modern Indian English literature. It compels readers to confront the uneasy intersection of poverty, sex, and morality. Mahapatra does not offer comfort or solutions. He lays bare the emotional and ethical scars of a society too broken to weep. Let's now analyze the poem line by line. It was hard to believe the flesh was heavy on my back. The poem opens with a weighty metaphor. The opening line introduces the speaker's internal conflict. Flesh here carries a double meaning. It refers both to the poet's own bodily fatigue and to the burden of human desire, particularly sexual hunger. This line establishes the conflict between bodily urges and conscience, which will be the central theme in the poem. The fisherman said, "Will you have her?" carelessly, trailing his nets and his nerves, as though his words sanctified the purpose with which he faced himself. The question, "Will you have her?" means that the fisherman is willing to offer his daughter for sex, a shocking moment, isn't it? The fisherman's casual and almost indifferent tone reflects how normalized and transactional such acts have become in a setting plagued by poverty. He asks a stranger to have sex with his own daughter, just for money. And his tone becomes very significant in this scenario. He is asking, as if it is one of the common things he does every day. Trailing his nets and his nerves is a brilliant imagery. It links the physical act of fishing with emotional vulnerability or desperation. It is as if the fisherman is casually justifying his offer. The line critiques the dehumanizing effect of hunger, where even a father has to sell his daughter to survive. Sanctified the purpose suggests justification, as if offering his daughter is morally acceptable, because hunger demands it. I saw his white bone thrash his eyes. Again, a haunting metaphor is used here. The phrase, white bone, could be read as his soul, guilt, or even the skeletal fragility of poverty. Thrash his eyes implies inner torment. It implies that the father may appear detached, but he suffers, although he does not show it. This particular line is very important, because the speaker here could see how desperate the fisherman's soul is. I followed him across the sprawling sands. The speaker's journey across the sands mirrors his moral descent. He could see the desperation in the fisherman's eyes, yet he could not restrain himself from following him. The theme of moral failure is applied here. My mind thumping in the flesh's sling. The flesh's sling evokes a sense of entrapment, as he grapples with his desires and guilt. The speaker here faces a moral conflict. Although he started following the fisherman with a sluggish intent, his inner conscience seems to interrupt him. Hope lay perhaps in burning the house I lived in. This is one of the most striking and metaphorical lines in the poem. Burning the house I lived in is a symbolic gesture of self-annihilation or purification. The house may represent the self, identity, or conscience. It's a moment of existential despair. The speaker can't morally justify his actions, and yet he is too far in to turn back. Silence gripped my sleeves. His body clawed at the froth. His old nets had only dragged up from the seas. A powerful personification is used here. Silence becomes a physical force, perhaps representing guilt, shame, or the social complicity in the act. It touches him, restrains him. But it was not enough to stop him. The silence reflects the speaker's inner turmoil. The fisherman is seen still struggling, possibly fishing, or fighting with the sea. The froth at the sea's edge is white, ephemeral, insubstantial, a metaphor for his futile attempts to pull something meaningful from life. In the flickering dark his linter opened like a wound. The speaker in this line gives the description of the fisherman's hut. The hut's description as a wound underscores the rawness of poverty and exploitation. The condition of the hut tells the condition of the fisherman. The term, flickering dark, adds to the ominous atmosphere. How can something be dark and flickering at the same time? It indicates something sinister. The wind was I, and the days and nights before. The speaker here, by identifying himself with the wind, makes his identity a transient, invisible and almost a restless force. By saying, the wind was I, he implies a loss of solid identity. He's not grounded, he's disembodied, perhaps detached emotionally, or trying to dissociate from the act he's going to be involved in. Another interpretation could be that the speaker considers himself one among the many tourists that come to visit the seaside and involve in such activity. He is not new. He is like those ordinary tourists. Palm fronds scratched my skin. Inside the shack, an oil lamp splayed the hours bunched to those walls. Palm fronds scratched my skin is so tactile, yet it is a symbol of discomfort. It creates a sense of friction and violation, even before the act itself occurs. The palm leaves seem to stop him from committing the crime. It's as if they are predicting the evil consequence. Over and over the sticky soot crossed the space of my mind. Sticky soot becomes a metaphor for guilt, shame, and memory. It's black, clinging, and inescapable. The repetition of over and over suggests obsession, haunting, a looping of trauma, and regret. Crossed the space of my mind indicates the internal conflict. The soot is not just in the shack, it's been internalized. It pollutes his thoughts, his moral compass, and refuses to be forgotten. I heard him say, "My daughter, she's just turned 15. Feel her. I'll be back soon, your bus leaves at 9. How shocking it can be for a father to talk such things about his daughter. This line is a direct statement, intentionally devoid of emotion or embellishment, which makes it even more shocking. The age of the girl is 15. It highlights that she is still a child, barely beyond girlhood, yet her father's remarks bring the theme of child sexual exploitation to the forefront. Side by side, it also expresses the condition of the father who needs to use his daughter for daily living. The phrase, "feel her," adds more intensity to the statement. The speaker is a tourist. So the father says that there is still some time for the bus. He can enjoy the moment before he sets off. The funny thing is, all these proposals are for some money, although it is not expressed explicitly. The sky fell on me, and the father's exhausted while. The sky fell on me is a powerful idiom for emotional devastation, a moment of unbearable psychological collapse, or guilt. It shows the speaker finally feeling the full moral weight of what is happening. It is as if he got his senses back. The word while means trickery. In this case, it's not a malicious trick, but an act of survival. The father has used his last resource, his daughter, to bait another day's sustenance. It's not cruelty, it's exhaustion, born from years of deprivation. And there is no villain, only victims of a system that reduces bodies to bargaining chips. Long and lean, her years were cold as rubber. She opened her wormy legs wide. I felt the hunger there. The other one, the fish slithering, turning inside. The imagery here is stark and unsettling, emphasizing the dehumanization of the fisherman's daughter. Her cold years and wormy legs reflect the physical and emotional toll of exploitation. The physical description of the girl tells us how desperate a condition they are in. I felt the hunger there is a double-edged phrase. It refers to the girl's hunger for food and survival, but also the speaker's own sexual hunger, which disgusts him. The fish is a recurring motif in the poem. Earlier it was connected with the father's failed livelihood. Here, it becomes a symbol of something slippery, trapped, alien, something churning within. The fish slithering inside may represent the speaker's guilt. The girl's trauma is silent but present. Or it can indicate even a deeper existential horror, that the act has been done, and now there is no peace, only an emotional afterbirth of shame and self-loathing. If this video helped you in any ways, consider subscribing the channel. Thanks for watching.